English and Spanish translation online. Please click on the globe icon at the bottom of your Zoom screen and select Spanish. In-person attendees needing translation can see Noemi at the River Center or myself at Westlake Village for assistance. Ms. Damasi, could you please make this announcement in Spanish for us? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rosa. Buenas tardes a todos, yo soy Flor Di Masi con GloboSpeak Traducciones, recordándoles que esta tarde estaremos proporcionando interpretaciones simultánea al español. Para poder accesar esta función, favor de localizar el icono en forma de mundo en la parte inferior derecha de su pantalla. Una vez que lo haya hecho, seleccionar español como su idioma de preferencia. Ahora comenzará usted a escuchar la interpretación en español. Es muy importante seleccionar modo silencio audio original para evitar escuchar ambos idiomas o ruidos de fondo. Ahora también voy a poner esas instrucciones vía chatline. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you, Ms. Damasi. For public comments, online attendees, please sign up using the Q&A button at the bottom of your bottom center of your Zoom screen. Phone-in attendees, please dial *9 to raise your hand. In-person attendees may fill out a speaker card at the back of the room and hand it to a staff member. Mr. Chair, you're now welcome to call this meeting to order.
Thank you, Willie. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the 522nd joint meeting of the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy and the Santa Monica Mountains Advisory Committee to order for March 16th, 2026. For item number 2, I've asked Ms. Brown if she can lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. We'll move on to item number 3, our land acknowledgement. The Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy holds lands that originally and still are inhabited by the Fernandeño Tataviam, Gabrielino Tangva, and Ventureño Shumash. We honor and respect our elders and descendants as they continue their stewardship of these lands and waters. James, would you please call the roll for the Conservancy?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Ms. Bochco, Ms. Hutzel, Mr. Butler, Mr. Rodriguez.
Here.
Ms. Lyle.
Here.
Ms. Drake.
Here.
Mr. Fink, Ms. Munoz, Mr. Veras, Mr. Ortega.
Here.
Ms. Pavley, Mr. Luna.
Present.
We are just at quorum.
Great. Thank you for those who made that possible. Vice Chair Newsom?
Yes, James, could you call roll for the advisory committee?
Ms. Acker, Ms. Anderson.
Here.
Ms. Brown.
Here.
Mr. Cacciati.
Here.
Ms. Conrad.
Here.
Mr. Corridori.
Here.
Mr. Dennert.
Here.
Ms. Fossen. Mr. Garand.
Here.
Ms. James.
Here.
Mr. Kishbaugh. Mr. Kraut. Mr. Lang.
Here.
Ms. Lopez. Ms. Mikos.
Present.
Mr. Manukyan. Ms. Nelson. Mr.
Here.
Thank you. Mr. Ordubegyan. Ms. Rosen. Mr. Rossman. Mr. Schlangen.
Here.
Mr. Wendler. Mr. Yakparian. Ms. Newsom.
Here.
Mr. Anderson.
James, this is Garen. I'm here. Sorry, the mic was off.
Thank you. A quorum is present.
Great. Thank you so much. We're moving on to item number 6, legislative participants. Would any legislative participants please introduce themselves?
Declan Floyd with Assemblymember Harabedian.
Lauren Pizer Maines with Senator Ben Allen.
Ryan Valencia with Assemblymember Irwin. Israel Rodriguez, Supervisor Grill.
Great. Thank you so much for your participation at these meetings. Just as everybody can see, there's allocation of time to each agenda items. If anybody sees that there's should be more, please let me know. Otherwise, I think we're good to proceed. And again, the idea of this is to help us have some guardrails and run efficient but effective meetings. All right, we're moving on to comments from members of the public. If you are online and haven't submitted your name in the Q&A box at the bottom of Zoom screen, please do so now. Online attendees, sign up using the Q&A button at the bottom center of your Zoom screen. Phone-in only attendees, dial *9 to raise your hand. In-person attendees, please fill out a speaker card at the back of the room and hand it to a staff member. Individuals have 3 minutes to speak, while those representing organizations have 5 minutes. Staff will notify you when you have 1 minute left. James, are there any members of the public who would like to speak at your location?
We do have one member here in Westlake Village, Marcia Zwilling. If you could step up to the podium, right over there. Dustin, is that mic on?
Hi, I'm Marcia Zwilling, and I'm here.
Miss, yes, if you could speak into the mic, thank you.
And I'm here in support of item 4E, paving the trails, maintaining the trails on Winding Way. Right now, there are so many deep gullies in the trails that people are walking on the road to avoid turning their ankles. In the past month, there's been several injuries, and the rangers were able to get help. And I also want to thank you, Joe, for the ranger presence that we're experiencing. They have been great and really, really helping trying to keep people on the trails. I think it's really important to do this because I myself, if I saw those gullies, I would walk in the road instead of trying to maneuver the trails. So another thing that's happening too is at night we're seeing people in the park where they're not supposed to be. And those trails in the dark are just treacherous. So I was going to suggest that perhaps we can put more signage that the park closes at sundown. Maybe put it in the parking lot as well. The parking lot closes at sundown, and maybe even a chain across the trail at night. Because people are walking down the road in the dark and there's no lights and you don't really see them till you're almost upon them. So I'm really in support of it. I think it's really necessary for the public safety. We have so many hikers. I mean, it's dramatically increased in the last year, and it's going to get worn down frequently, but this is the worst I've seen it. And the last thing I want to talk about is because of the amount of traffic on these trails, you know, I know it's been talked about for years considering Latigo as another option. I drive past that parking lot on the corner of Latigo and PCH almost every day. It's for sale. It's currently being leased by tree trimmers. I mean, it just seems like a natural, even if we do a long-term lease, to give people a safe place to park. Right now, they're crossing PCH. I came back Sunday. There were people in the middle on the turn lane with dogs. And that's what happens. There's so much traffic, they can't make it clear across. So I think that's pretty much what I have to say. And again, thank you for all the rangers have been terrific, and I really commend them. They're really making a difference. So thank you.
Before going online, Ms. Mitchell, Ms. Huerta, any in person here? All right, James, online.
We have one member of the public online, Kelsey Jessup. You have the floor.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Okay, great. Hello, and thanks for the opportunity to provide public comment. My name is Kelsey Jessup, and I'm a project director with the Nature Conservancy in California. And I've been overseeing the Bowtie Wetland demonstration since I started at TNC almost 8 years ago. This project continues to be a positive collaboration with the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy and our many partners, including local, regional, and state entities, nonprofits, and community-based organizations. Over the course of many years, we've had the privilege of working with California State Parks, Clock Shop, the City of Los Angeles, Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority, Anahuac Youth Sports Association, Mujeres de la Tierra, Audubon Center at Debs Park, Friends of the LA River, the neighborhood councils of Glassell Park, Atwater Village, Cypress Park, and Elysian Valley, LA River State Park partners, and more. And we are very grateful to the board for considering our augmentation request for this project. The project is moving forward well, and when complete, will provide many benefits for people, wildlife, and ecosystems. And communities in Northeast LA, where the project is located, are at the front lines of climate change. And many of them are monolingual Spanish speakers, and they have not had equitable access to parks and open space. This project aims to change that by providing multiple benefits such as reduced risk of extreme heat and flood, improved water quality, increased habitat and biodiversity, and access to open space. We've spent years engaging with local communities by attending neighborhood council meetings in the 4 local neighborhoods to listen and learn and to share project updates. We've hosted events, partnered with other nonprofits and community-based organizations to share information and really to try to create fun and engaging ways to participate in the project process. Most recently, we hosted a community welcome day at the site to provide an opportunity for local community members to see construction in action. Some of you on this call were there, and I hope that you had fun. It was really exciting to see folks come to the site and get to be there and stand on the soil and see all of the progress to date. And I can't wait for the project to actually open and welcome many more community members. All of our activities are offered in Spanish, and we aim to interact in culturally sensitive and appropriate ways. And I'd be very happy to provide more detail about the recent Community Welcome Day or really any of our engagement. I know I have limited time now, but I did want to just note, I'm here today to represent this project because we have faced unanticipated increases in restoration costs. Thus, we're extremely grateful to the board for their consideration of our grant augmentation request. We did recently receive an augmentation from the Wildlife Conservation Board. We were also recently alerted that we were awarded a Measure A grant from LA County. Thus, if we are awarded this funding from the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, we'll be mostly fully funded and able to complete project construction late this year or early next year. I'd be happy to answer more questions if appropriate during the agenda when we get to that item, or now, or whenever it makes sense, and just really to share any more detail about this project as you would like. So thank you again, and we look forward to our continued partnership and really hope to get everybody out to the site very soon. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Jessup. That concludes our public comments.
Thank you, James. We're moving on to discussion items. The first item is approval of minutes. Vice Chair Newsom.
Yes, Advisory Committee, can I have a motion on approval of the minutes from February 26?
Corridori, I'll move approval.
Mr. Corridori, second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Mr. Lang. Does anybody have any edits to the minutes? Thank you.
Ms. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Brown?
Here, yes.
Mr. Cacciati?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad?
Yes.
Mr. Corridori?
Yes.
Mr. Dennert?
Yes.
Mr. Garand?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Ms. Mikos?
Aye.
Ms. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Schlangen?
Yes.
Mr. Yakparian?
Abstain.
Ms. Newsom?
Yes.
That carries with 1 abstention.
Can I get a motion from Conservancy?
Ms. Ortega, so move.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Lyle?
Yes.
Ms. Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega?
Aye.
Mr. Luna?
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you so much.
Papley, aye.
Oh, Ms. Pavlik.
Welcome. Ms. Pavley has joined us. Thank you.
Thank you. For the record, our Vice Chair has joined the meeting. Are there any others, James, there that have joined the meeting since?
No.
Okay, good. We're moving on to item B, presentation by the Mountains Recreation Conservation Authority on progress at the Frank and Joan Randall Preserve. Staff?
Good morning, or good evening, Chair, Board, and Advisory Committee members of the public. My name is Brian Baldoff. I'm a Deputy Executive Officer at the MRCA, and I just wanted to introduce this item. We're here today to give a brief update on the Randall Preserve, which is down in Orange County. I know that that is not within the territory of Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, so you might ask yourself, why are we talking about this project, even though it's really great and interesting? Two reasons why.
Brian, why are we talking about this project?
So the first reason is that we were gratefully appropriated $2 million in funding from Assemblymember Cotty Petrie Norris, and she requested that that funding be routed through the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy to the MRCA. So we hope in April to bring a grant request for that funding. That gives us the ability to do basic improvements as we start to get the park ready for public access. And the second reason is that last month, or I guess earlier this month at the MRCA governing board, a tribal access and engagement plan was approved by the MRCA governing board, and we wanted to briefly share about that because it's a pretty significant piece of work that was a large effort by our staff, Liam Walsh, who you're going to hear from. First, you're going to hear from Isabella Noriega, who's our project manager for the resource management plan. So I'm going to hand it to you, Isabella, and I think we have some slides.
Yes, we do. Good evening, everyone. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Not yet.
Is it visible? Can everyone see it?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Great. Thank you. Make sure. Great. Hello, good evening, Conservancy board members, members of the advisory committee, and members of the public. My name is Isabela Noriega, and I am a project manager in park development and one of two project managers working on the Randall Preserve Genga project. I was asked to provide an update on the planning efforts that began 3 years ago when MRCA acquired the site. The Frank and Joan Randall Preserve action in December of 2022. It is 387 acres and located in Orange County, specifically in Costa Mesa and within the sphere of influence of Newport Beach. The site is divided into two major ecological zones that are defined by a steep change in its topography. The upper mesa consists of upland native vegetation communities that are more soil dependent and less dependent upon hydrology. The lowlands is separated by a 60-foot grade change. It is defined by depressions that pool water during the rainy seasons and by its proximity to the Santa Ana River salt marsh. This drastic change in topography allows for diverse ecological opportunities and will also provide an interesting visitor experience when the site is open to the public. The land operated as a private oil field since the 1940s, featuring over 450 active wells and extensive infrastructure, making it one of the last large undeveloped private coastal areas in Southern California. The previous title holders and operators, Era Energy LLC, are in charge of remediation, which is done under the oversight of the Newport Banning Ranch Remedial Action Plan developed for the property, which was approved by the Santa Ana Regional Water Quality Control Board. The Remedial Action Plan, or the RAP, outlines requirements for the decommissioning and abandonment of the Banning Ranch oil field operations, and it is intended to prepare the area for alternate public and natural uses. The work started in 2022, and it is expected to be complete by 2027. Remediation includes capping of wells, removing miles of pipe and other infrastructure, such as the concrete piles you see on the screen, and demolishing all structures on site as well. The removal of buildings proved advantageous because every building on site had been subject to vandalism. Soil bioremediation occurs on site as well through land farming, which is a technique that stirs the soil periodically so its microorganisms degrade contaminants and restore soil health sustainably. The preserve's acquisition was significantly funded by a generous donation from Frank and Joan Randall, who pledged a private gift of $50 million to jumpstart the acquisition funding. The rest came from public funding sources. As a result, the preserve is bound to specific requirements regarding the site's use and management. One of the many requirements related to the acquisition funding is the development of a property management plan. MRCA and its nonprofit partner, Coastal Corridor Alliance, are currently working to develop a property management plan, which includes a resource management plan, which focuses on habitat and species protection, a public access plan, which discusses trails and public amenities, and a coastal resilience strategy, which addresses how to adapt to sea level rise. Funding also required a separate tribal access and engagement plan, which details tribal use on site, and this is managed by Liam Walsh, MRCA's Tribal Engagement Officer. The overarching goal of the resource management plan is to integrate ecological resilience to the site's management. It includes education and research for the preservation and enhancement of the preserve. This includes research into the site's physical characteristics that define its current and historical ecology, which considers numerous rare and special status species, both flora and fauna, that inhabit the site. Within the resource management plan, management of the preserve's resources is organized into management levels that consider the full range of management, planning, and restoration activities that are needed to fully realize the project. The low-touch approach focuses on weed treatment to suppress seed production and relying on passive volunteer revegetation of native plants. More intermediate management focuses on oil field road abandonment. Road restoration will serve to reconnect habitat and reduce habitat fragmentation that resulted from oil field operations. The high-touch approach uses mass grading to reshape and lower the existing site elevations to allow tide water to intentionally flood the lowlands. Existing hydrology would redirect freshwater and saltwater inputs to support freshwater habitat and saltwater habitat. This is a long-term vision, and it will require coordination with the Army Corps of Engineers, who manages the Santa Ana River salt marsh. The public access plan is housed within the resource management plan and describes a phased approach to create a network of trails, overlook, and public use areas for the enjoyment of all visitors. This plan considers different transportation modes for arriving at the preserve. Upon arrival, visitors will gradually, over time, access various portions of the preserve in a phased opening of the trail system. From the 17th Street entrance, a system of trails will eventually access many areas of the preserve that may in the future connect to external public spaces and features such as Sunset Ridge Park and Pacific Coast Highway, Talbot Regional Park, and the Santa Ana River Trail. Loop trails will provide outdoor hiking opportunities that afford visitors short and long routes to experience the natural beauty of the Pacific Ocean, expansive views of Orange County's coastline, and access to viewing habitat to some of Orange County's most protected species. The coastal resilience strategy considers the effect of future sea level rise on resources within the lowland area of the preserve. Hydrologic modeling assesses potential flooding of existing site conditions and the vulnerability of the site to elevated sea levels with and without stormwater flows from the Santa Ana River. Additional modeling is used to assess the risk of sea level rise on future high-touch management concepts involving the creation of new salt marsh habitat areas. The acquisition funding also required MRCA to form an advisory committee, and their role is to provide feedback and recommend the property management plan for MRCA board approval. The committee composition is intended to represent and reflect all communities and tribes that represent the area surrounding the preserve, with emphasis on the involvement of disadvantaged communities and the regulatory agencies that were involved in the preserve's acquisition. This part of the project is coordinated by a separate project manager, Julian Buenaventura. We've held 4 meetings, and the last is set to occur in late April. At this point, we will present the final property management plan to the committee. At this point, I'll pass it over to Liam Walsh to describe the tribal access and engagement plan and the recent site visit to the preserve.
Thank you so much, Isabella, and great job. I know it's a ton of plans that we have to unpack here, so thank you for doing the heavy lifting. The Tribal Access and Engagement Plan has been quite a process that has spanned around 3 years, predating my own time at MRCA. When I came to MRCA, it was the first thing that they handed to me to work on. And it was very clear that I had my work cut out for me. So over the course of 3 years, this State Coastal Conservancy funded project was focusing on creating exactly what it sounds like, an access and engagement protocol for tribal nations that are culturally and ancestrally affiliated with the 387 acres that we call the Frank and Joan Randall Preserve. The stipulations laid out in the grant language necessitated that MRCA engages in an AB 52 like consultation model. We thought it would be better if we went above and beyond that. So we did. We went way above and beyond that. We convened a tribal government advisory group that consisted of 6 of those tribes out of the majority 7 that claim cultural and ancestral affiliation with Ganga or Randall Preserve. And that advisory group met 5 times throughout the process, which was a little bit under 2 years of active work with myself running the Tribal Affairs Department at MRCA. And we've come out on the other side with a beautifully finished, polished product that we like to call the TAEP for short. And the TAEP consists of 3 main portions. We have a policy document for Randall Preserve's tribal co-stewardship model. We have a native science report that was submitted to us by a tribe that we contracted with and compensated their staff time of biologists and ecologists that details the different applications of tribal ecological knowledge at the preserve, the potential applications that could help with the restoration of this former oil field. As Isabella was just kind of explaining to us with the bioremediation, there is still other work to do to prime this preserve as something that can house culturally significant plants, culturally significant materials for basket weavers, and different things that tribes depend on because a community needs a cultural centering to actually succeed. And then finally, it concludes with an ethnographic report, which is approximately 70 pages. That ethnographic report was produced by ASM Affiliates, who is also the consultant firm responsible for the First Peoples of LA report. And a little bit about the most interesting part of this document, the Tribal Access and Engagement Plan. Policy protocols number around 30 pages. They're broken down into 6 main sections, which is the background for the project, the site background and information, such as the natural features and the cultural features that exist on site. Chapter 3 is the tribal engagement protocols. Chapter 4 is the tribal access protocols. Chapter 5 is the collaborative stewardship model and framework, and then Chapter 6 is the regulatory compliance considerations in regards to cultural resources as well as interagency coordination because of the sensitivity of some of the organisms that call Randall Preserve home. Some of the next steps that we're looking towards to formalize this plan includes entering into memorandums of understanding with the tribes to formalize their access areas and access protocols and to keep MRCA and the tribal governments accountable in this partnership process. We're hoping that this leads to many, many, many different opportunities for both public-facing education by the tribes, as well as ecological restoration opportunities that MRCA can partner with the tribes on. Those are really the 2 main goals here that hit every single box, from MRCA's interest to the public's interest to the tribe's interest to the original funder's interest at the State Coastal Conservancy. If we want to move forward one slide, I think we have the picture of the site visit. But on the eve of the approval of the TAEP, we were joined by Board Chair George Lang of the MRCA, as well as our partners at the Coastal Corridor Alliance, who are responsible for a lot of the work under the Resource Management Plan. And we got to tour the perimeter of the 387 acres, both the Upper Mesa and the lowlands as well. And we just had a really, really good day. We were joined by a couple different tribal leaders, and they stayed with us through the majority of the tour. One of them did leave early, but George, Board Chair George, and the tribal leaders were very much chatting it up, and it was a great opportunity to really walk him through the state of the plans and kind of get just some boots on the ground so that we could make any necessary data collection requests happen, whether it's photos, whether it's, oh, that's interesting, maybe we should keep an extra eye on this area of the preserve. So that day went great, and we were blessed with some really awesome weather. And you see, there's some pictures here on the screen. I'm the goofy guy in the black T-shirt in the top left, standing next to George, and then we have the photo right next to that. That's going to be one of our rangers, and then we have a tribal leader from the Gabrielino Tongva Indians of California. To her left, it's a tribal leader from the Juaneño Band of Mission Indians of Hashman Nation 84A. Then we have Board Chair Lang, myself, Melanie Schlotterbeck of the Coastal Corridor Alliance, Brian Baldoff of MRCA, and Isabella Noriega, who just walked us through the bulk of this Randall Preserve presentation, also from MRCA. And with that, I think that concludes everything that I'm going to cover so that we stay on time and on agenda. But thank you so much, everyone. I'll pass it back to Isabella and Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Brian?
I think that's it
Just-
for our presentation. We're here just for questions in case there are any.
Great. And this is a prequel to a request that's coming to us. Do you know when that'll be?
We hope to come in April. So whenever MRCA comes to Conservancy, almost always whenever we come to the Conservancy, we go to the MRCA to ask approval first, that we bring a grant application. So our next step is to ask the MRCA's approval to apply for this funding.
Thank you, Brian. So we have 40 minutes allocated to discussion items. We have 4 discussion items left, and we're almost at the 20-minute mark. Ms. Newsom, do you want to lead any questions that the advisory may have?
Yes, did you want me to call a motion first?
We're not voting on it. This is just a
Okay.
discussion
All right,
item.
does
Yeah.
anyone have any questions or comments for our presenters? It was very excellent, by the way.
I do.
Yes, sir.
2 questions. One real quick. What's anticipated? Will biking be permitted in the area? And 2, with the inevitability of sea level rise, why would we consider cutting the elevations of some places? That seems counterintuitive.
I can take those. So currently we are not planning to allow biking throughout the property. There is a bike path, Santa Ana River, right adjacent, and so we do hope that in the future that park or preserve goers will come by bike, and we're going to have a lot of bike infrastructure. But because there are so many sensitive plants, animals, I want to say there are 29 threatened and endangered species on site. The science says that one of the best ways that we can help to protect those species is to try to limit human impacts. Secondly, in terms of the allowing coastal flooding, right now the Army Corps has a system of pools that allow tidal influx. And so the idea would be to allow that to further come into the property, because right now those have all been diked off. The property would have historically had coastal flooding, and so even though that sea level change will make that worse, we also think that it is important for the site to be able to kind of resume like what would have been. So that's something that there are more feasibility studies that need to happen to sort of actually look at how that would work, and it's working with the Army Corps to sort of change how their system works. So it would not be something overnight, but it's been one of the long-term goals of many of the funders.
Thank you, Brian. Smith?
Question. I'm just curious if the Regional Water Board has been a partner in this, and if, I don't know if the Santa Ana is 303D listed on that segment, just sort of how the water quality components might be feeding into the project plans, if at all.
So the Santa Ana Regional Water Quality Board is the regulator for the cleanup of the site. I don't know in terms of the 303D question, but they've been the regulator with ERA, the previous landowner, and so they are overseeing all of the cleanup. There's somewhere around I want to say 24 or 25 PECs on site areas that are needing to be cleaned up, and ERA has been making a lot of good progress. I want to say they're probably at 50% or more now. So the Water Quality Board has been signing off sort of one by one, which is a little unusual in cleanup process. Usually water boards like to do it all in kind of one move. They approve everything that's been completed, but they've been working with ERA, who still has a long way to go. End of 27 is their current plan right now.
I have a question. Sounds like a great project. You kind of opened it up at discussing why we were receiving this. And I just want to know, why was the SMMC chosen for the vehicle for the grant?
I think we would have to ask our assembly member. I'm not sure why.
Assembly member Petri Norris, not us, right? She's the one.
That's correct. Listen, yeah, I mean, I think that she knew that the Conservancy is able to sort of. I guess she must have identified that they were the best. The Conservancy was the best entity, but I don't have further information.
And since this will come formally in April, perhaps that's a good time to invite a representative to attend. Maybe answer that question.
Good idea.
Ms. Newsom, we could probably entertain another question, or I'd like to.
Would anyone else like to comment or question the presenters?
We are associated with MRCA basically because a lot of the things that we do go through MRCA, and we're an easy mark. If somebody says, we want to give you money, we're here.
I didn't see the negative side. I just thought maybe there's something. Thanks.
I'd like to make a brief comment, kind of related to how the Conservancy got brought into this. How did the MRCA get brought into this? The Trust for Public Land was a group that had management of this potential preserve, and they had the three cities, Newport Beach, Costa Mesa, and Huntington Beach, and as mentioned by Liam, 6 or 7 different tribes. They had the county, Orange County, and other environmental organizations all trying to have something to say about this property. As mentioned, it was the last open space on Southern California coast. So it was very special. And so the Trust for Public Land saw all the different groups trying to organize, try to get their piece of the pie, have their say and so forth. And the MRCA and Trust for Public Land and the Conservancy have all had associations with TPL in the past. And they saw what the MRCA had been accomplishing over the many years, and they said they're the organization that's going to make this happen. So, and thanks to the staff and thanks to Liam, this is what's been accomplished by your organization, the MRCA. So it's a unique. It's probably not, Liam can make specifics, but when you consider the 6 or 7 different tribes involved and so forth, and to get a collaborative project decision and so forth is not an easy task. So it's something.
Thank you, Chair Lange. Would each members of the Conservancy have any questions before we move on to our next item?
I had a question.
Please, Ms. Vice Chair Pavin.
Yes. It's sort of unique being out of the county and in Orange County. I was just wondering the relationship with working with Orange County and with the MRCA.
There's quite a story behind all that.
But maybe we'll have
So
lunch. Yeah,
well,
just because
the short story is
this could be a model for a whole bunch of other areas of the state, and making sure that, and I know you make sure.
So
Mr.
state
Edmonston,
conservancies
financially
have
we
a
can do it.
responsibility to assist other entities in conservation natural resource work. And we take that responsibility seriously. And when any of our offshoots, like MRCA, have the capacity to help, we try to do that. And so we're known for doing it. And I think that without getting into too much of the politics of it, there was not an appropriate takeout agency. And the largesse of this board and the other members of the MRCA board, the Conejo Park District and the Rancho Simi District, said, you know, we're in a position to be able to help. And this is our third area in actually in Orange County. There were two other areas in Orange County that were in a similar situation where we're holding those lands for state parks. This property we're not holding for anybody other than ultimately the tribes. So that would be our hope.
So that's the long-term
Exactly.
potential plan on that. And okay, because it's a very unique situation. I was just curious on logistically and liability and everything else. So it sounds like a great piece of property. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. All right. Moving on to item C, consideration of a resolution authorizing the grant of Proposition 4 funds to the Mountains Recreation Conservation Authority to acquire property at Trinfield Creek Watershed, unincorporated LA County. I'm assuming we have a staff presentation, or we're just moving into it.
Hey, everybody. The Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority got this property, or had it in abeyance for almost 3 years through LA County through a Chapter 8 agreement. And the time has come due to where we have to, after they've gone through their process and sorted out the Chapter 8 snafu that occurred in the whole statewide, to come up with the funding for it. It's a tremendous property. It'd be great if we put the one map up. It's 106 acres on the backside of Ladyface Mountain in Agoura. You see the whole thing going down Canaan as you come over the crest and descend into that part of the Malibu Creek watershed. And the MRCA has
Do we have a photo?
We're getting that up.
Yeah, put in an application to buy it for the appraised price. And the way Chapter 8 agreements unfortunately work now with the county is that you have to pay the appraised value, even though whereas before it was just the back taxes plus fees. So Chad Christensen with the MRCA, who wrote the application to the Conservancy, is online if we have any more questions. There's some great maps in the staff report that show the ecological significance and where the property is. And I'm here to answer any questions, and Chad can answer questions too about the county's Chapter 8 process. And so the request is for Proposition 4 funding. This is kind of a pullback view that kind of leading to the new overcrossing that's being built there on the 101 on the right-hand side of the map, and the red 106-acre square to the left is that property. And kind of, for the most part, fills out almost all of the landmass of Ladyface Mountain with this property, because the 190-acre chunk to the north of it will eventually come through dedication probably to the MRCA or the city. And you can see that whole Ladyface Mountain core habitat area is a pretty big habitat area. And this provides a great interface down towards Paramount Ranch and to the west. So I'll leave it at that, and I'm happy to answer more questions. And we can. You want to go through all the slides? We can do that too. They're all in the staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Edelman, and I think we all received that. So there is a request from the Mountains Recreation Conservation Authority for $760,000. Vice Chair Newsom, if this is a vote, so if you could take it over here.
Yes, Advisory Committee, may I have a motion on item 9C, please?
So moved.
Second, Roseanne Mikas.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson and Ms. Michaels. Does anyone have any questions, Advisory Committee? Ms. James?
Yeah, so I think the staff report alluded to sort of a mid-April deadline of the possibility of using some funds that were expiring if the invoice, or for lack of a better term, comes in before then. Can you maybe describe that, and is it looking promising? I mean, on its face, that seems like it would be beneficial.
No, it would have not gotten the invoice in time, and that funding and that other grant from the Conservancy needs to be, the lack of a better word, the invoice needs to go into the state sooner rather than later. So I think it was about $60,000 that could have applied toward this purchase from another grant. It's not going to happen.
So this is so fantastic. I love it. And look at it. It's just such a beautiful little puzzle piece. And you alluded to it will get filled in. Could you say a little bit more about just below the Little Red to Paramount Ranch? It looks like there's a space that still isn't owned by any of us.
I can't tell you exactly what the current status of that is. The property exactly across Canaan is, I don't know the ownership, but there's a fellow that filled in the whole creek there. 90% of that, if they ever use their development entitlement, will become a conservation easement to the MRCA. So the one and the two there on the map, that ownership directly south of those two numbers, I don't know. But down about 100 yards, what's called the Baker Burns property, that probably the entitlement's expired, but 90% of it comes to the MRCA.
Thank you.
Advisory Committee, any other comment? Mr. Corridori?
One other comment, even though this is not being purchased at the value of the defaulted tax, in the future is going to prove this to be a tremendous bargain. This is a great price for this property.
I agree. Advisory Committee, anyone else would like to speak? James, may you take the vote, please?
Yes, and just to note, Mr. Wendler joined us during that last presentation.
Great, thank you.
Ms. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cacciati?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad?
Yes.
Mr. Corridori?
Yes.
Mr. Dennert?
Yes.
Mr. Garand?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Ms. Mikos?
Aye.
Ms. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Schlangen?
Yes.
Mr. Wendler?
Yes.
Mr. Yekparian?
Yes.
Ms. Newsom?
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you, James. Conservancy, may I get a motion in a second?
Also move. I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Pavley, for motioning, second by Mr. Ortega. James?
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Lyle?
Yes.
Ms. Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Ms. Pavley?
Yes.
Mr. Luna?
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you. Moving on to item D, consideration of resolution authorizing augmentation of $1 million for the Bowtie Wetland Demonstration Project for the City of Los Angeles for construction. Vice Chair Newsom, we need a motion.
Yes, a motion on item 9D, Advisory Committee, please.
So moved.
Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments regarding 9D? We did have a presentation earlier. Was there any further questions regarding that? No. So James, could you please take a vote?
Ms. Anderson? Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cacciati?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad?
Yes.
Mr. Corridori?
Yes.
Mr. Dennert?
Yes.
Mr. Garand?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Ms. Mikos?
Aye.
Ms. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Schlangen?
Yes.
Mr. Wendler?
Yes.
Mr. Yekparian?
Yes.
Ms. Newsom?
Yes.
That carries.
And
Great.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize for being absent when the vote was called. I'm a yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your vote. Conservancy, can I get a motion in a second, please?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Second.
You got seconds and thirds and. Mr. Ortega withdraws the second. Can you please take note of who made the motion, who second, please, James?
Was that Mr. Rodriguez who made the motion? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And who seconded?
I didn't catch that, actually.
Can you repeat then who did, please?
I did.
Thank you, Ms. Lyle.
Thank you. James, roll call.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Lyle?
Yes.
Ms. Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Ms. Pavley?
Yes.
Mr. Luna?
Yes.
That carries.
Great. We're moving on to items E, consideration of resolution authorizing a grant for Winding Way Trail restoration in Malibu. Do we have a presentation or are we moving into?
Mr. Chairman, the staff report is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I agree. Vice Chair Newsom.
As advisory committee, may I have a motion on item 9E, please?
Grant, so moved.
Thank you, Mr. Grand.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions or comments regarding this item?
I have a question.
Please.
Thank you. I was wondering if there was a map of the work that's being proposed, just so I can determine whether or not I have to be recused. I didn't see it in the staff report. My house, I'm right by there.
I don't think we have, do we have a map?
It's basically Winding Way.
Is it up, so is it in the backwoods where the trailhead, the Eddie Albert trailhead goes into the
No, it's a
trail?
long winding
So it's a
way.
long winding way. So then I should
DG
probably.
path.
The DG path, thank you. That's what I was wondering. So I guess I will recuse myself from this, if that's
Hey, Lynn,
appropriate.
I think it's always fine to recuse yourself even when you might not be required to.
Okay.
But my understanding of the conflict of interest is there any possible way it impacts like your financial standing or anything like that?
No.
So often that's the standard, is it not?
Okay.
Like if your property house would go down or up, but
Oh, possibly, I don't know. It's unforeseen. I don't know, but I think it would probably, but thank you, err on the safe side. I wouldn't want to interfere with this. I wanted to thank you as well. And my second question was, I didn't see in the staff report if this requires a coastal development permit. I don't know.
Well, point of order, if are you recusing yourself? You're
I,
entering into discussion about it.
oh, okay, so can I,
If you're recusing yourself, you can't
do I leave the
enter into
room?
discussion.
Okay, so what if I asked that question before I was determining if I had to
No.
recuse myself?
No play.
Someone could ask that question.
Thank you, Ms. Powell.
Yeah,
Okay, so I'll recuse myself. Shall I leave the room?
Mr. Chair, this is Jeff Maloney. Typically, it is required if someone's going to recuse themselves for potential conflict issues that they would leave the room and not participate in the discussion.
Thank you. I will leave the room.
Thank you. Vice Chair Newsom?
Advisory committee, are there any other comments?
I'll pose a question regarding the need for a permit or not. Coastal permit.
By the coastal development, yeah. Coastal permit. That's what Jeff.
I cannot answer that.
I don't believe so. Does anyone know if it
Jeff?
requires a coastal development permit?
I would have to go back and look at the technical plans to see if it would rise to the level of project within the scope of the Coastal Act. I don't know that off the top of my head. Apologize for that, but rest assured that if necessary, we would obtain any permits that would be required.
So this item came to us because members of the community, and let's put it that way, members of the community said that the trail was in need of repair. And typically speaking, repairs don't require a coastal permit. So that would be the answer.
So it's a pre-existing development just being restored.
However, in this particular community, if somebody's not pleased with what's going on, I'm sure that they would go to the commission or go to the city. Since the city is the entity that would be issuing a permit, if a permit was required, then it would be up to the city probably to try to enforce the Coastal Act as against us. But again, we don't believe that the Coastal Act requires, if you're fixing your driveway, you don't have to get a coastal permit. If you're fixing a trail in front of your property, you don't have to necessarily get a permit. That would be our view. However, What is the last words of, famous last words on a very famous movie, Chinatown? Jake, it's Malibu. He actually said Chinatown, but it's Malibu.
Well.
Have you all, you know, in my day, everybody would have got that.
I got it. I
No, we got it.
We got lots of chuckles over here, Mr. Edmondson,
We're
just so you
falling
know.
out of our chairs here.
Do we have any other information or comments? Mr. Luna? James, will you
All right,
please take
Ms.
the vote?
Yeah, thank you.
Ms. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cacciati?
Yes.
We note that Ms. Conrad recused herself. Mr. Corridori?
Yes.
Mr. Dennert?
Yes.
Mr. Grand?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Ms. Mikos?
Aye.
Ms. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Schlungen?
Yes.
Mr. Wendler?
Yes.
Mr. Yakparian?
Yes.
Ms. Newsom?
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you so much. Conservancy, can I get a motion in a second, please?
So moved.
Can somebody get the other person who just?
I'll go get her after they vote.
I'll second.
Great, we got a first and a second. Roll call, James, please.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Lyle?
Yes.
Ms. Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Ms. Pavley?
Yes.
Mr. Luna?
Yes.
That carries.
Great. All right, we're moving on to item F, which is an item, excuse me, of discussion only. And it's regarding the proposed change of meeting times from evening to daytime. And as everybody saw in the report, we did get a snapshot of the survey results. And what I saw was that out of the 29 people that responded and 21 of those who gave a preference, whether daytime or evening, 13 said evening, 8 said daytime. And so, you know, before I turn it over to Vice Chair Newsom, questions or further discussion, I think just wanted to highlight that, you know, we did add minutes to the agenda in an effort to, again, as I said at the beginning, be efficient without diluting our effectiveness. I think it also allows for community members to participate in the evening and for community members to, you know, if they're really busy, to know when they should make effort to be for an agenda item that they're following. So with that, Vice Chair Newsom, to see if there's any further discussion on this item.
Yes, Advisory Committee, I'd like to hear your comments. Ms. Mikos?
Well, you received two letters today, one from me and one from Alan Kishbaugh, pretty much saying the similar things, that for the benefit of the public and also for the benefit of those many people on the advisory committee, maybe not as many on the board, that might not be able to be on the advisory committee if they had to come during the day because of their work. But I think that the more important thing is the public benefit of people, the general public. Most of them don't work at night. They work during the day. And I don't think we should be diminishing their best chance to participate at all. So I think it's really important that we stick with the evening meetings.
Halen?
I read the letters, and I was originally a daytime requester, and then it really made a lot of sense. If it doesn't interfere with public or any sort of getting support, I saw the benefit in evening meetings.
Thank you. Would someone else like to comment? Mr.
Yes,
Corridor?
please.
Yeah, I originally said no preference because I am available, but I'm persuaded by Roseanne's argument. The public is better served if we do it in the evening.
Thank you. If I would allow Mr. Lang.
Yes, looking around the dais, I see two staff members, Mr. Edmondson and Ms. Gay, that were here in the 90s. And our board member, Alan Kishbaugh, and myself were on the advisory committee, and we did not have a quorum on maybe 2 consecutive meetings, at least 2 meetings. So while the Conservancy was conducting the meeting, the advisory committee was in another room making phone calls, trying to get members to attend. So, pardon? Daytime, yeah. So I know there's issues and challenges for daytime meetings, and so I would recommend to stay with the evening meeting.
I do understand that we're in different positions in life, so I would prefer an evening meeting, but if that means starting earlier in the evening, I'm open to that as a compromise. But I would say from the Park District and St. Valley, our perspective, there's 5 board members and 4 of us have jobs during the day, so we would not be able to participate. And as a part of that, it's really difficult if there's a position like this that you basically need to be retired from a day job. That really excludes a lot of people from public service. So I would prefer evening meetings, or possibly just starting earlier evening, 5:30, if we need a compromise.
Thank you.
I'd like to say something when appropriate. Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, for all the reasons already stated, I'm vehemently opposed to daytime meetings. Plus, we're having meetings in 2 different places, partly due to traffic considerations, which are obviously exacerbated if we have daytime meetings. Plus, it harks back to some of the intentional exclusionary approaches that some smaller cities had by having daytime meetings in the bad old days. Thank you.
Thank you. If I may comment on a personal level, I would not be able to attend in the daytime. And on my short time here on the advisory committee, which I'm very honored to be, the crowds that come to public speak in the evenings are so beneficial. And so my vote is evening. Thank you. Anyone else?
I just like to say I think those of us that are worked in the elected official side of things, we have a lot of meetings, from municipal advisory council meetings to citizens advisory council meetings. And anytime we've done something during the day, the phone rings, why are you doing this? You know? And so, like, I have one this Thursday night. If I was to have it during the day, I would never hear the end of it, so.
Thank you. Mr. Luna?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate the conversation and the dialogue and the understanding. It sounds like, people that were inclined for daytime are hearing the consideration of why it's important to have it in the evening. Doesn't mean we can't have this conversation again in a year from now, but I think let's work with it through the year. But Conservancy members, any thoughts or comments, opinions?
I'll just say that since we put everything on Zoom these days, the evening meetings, which we were concerned because of the distance and everything else, actually people have an easier time almost participating than they did many years ago. I think our challenge is we're one of the few, probably, other than a little city council or something like that, not everyone meets once a month like you do. And so we're quite visible with the public, and they, I think they know that, and they appreciate that, Joe, that it's at night when there's no reason why they probably couldn't attend, other than sometimes it's hard as people get older to drive at night. And that's about the only thing I could think of. Otherwise, I couldn't see a small city saying, we're just going to go switch to the daytime because it's more convenient for us and staff.
So,
Because it's about the public. We serve the public, and I think we're not getting a lot of pressure on us. I'm not hearing it, that we want the meetings during the day.
And let me remind the Conservancy members, most of you have access to public meeting rooms, that sort of thing. And just as we have a board member who's participating from Sacramento, typically, we could have, for example, some people could, if you could persuade somebody from Agoura Hills to make a meeting room available or some public meeting place available, all you have to have is the public access. And then you could notice your participation from wherever, as long as there's public access. So that gives the Conservancy Board a lot of leeway in terms of being able to come and join us, at least electronically. Now, we'd love to see you all, and I know every month you wait to see Rory. I do, but I just think we're stronger if everyone is at least in some way participating together at the same time.
Thank you, Mr. Edmondson. Well, thank you all for the discussion. It sounds like consensus this evening, so appreciate coming to that consensus. With that, we're going to move on to reports. First, I'll just briefly state that on March 7th, I did attend the Bowtie Wetlands Demonstration Community Day on behalf of the Santa Monica Mountains. It was a great event, attended by a bunch of community, awesome tours. It was good to see the land being moved. Great program with Director of State Parks, Councilmember Eunices, Assemblymember Colosa. I think our previous vote to support the million of the construction was a good one. So that's all I have to report. Coastal Commission report?
No report.
Coastal Conservancy?
No report.
Attorney General?
No report.
National Park Service?
Yes, I have one topic to share tonight.
Please, Ms. Lyle.
I'm speaking on behalf tonight of the National Park Service, California State Parks, the Conservancy, and MRCA. Many of you know that we all are part of something that we refer to as the four-party agreement, and it's a cooperative management agreement that our four agencies sign every 5 years, and it helps us work together operationally within the Santa Monica Mountain Zone. And so as signatories of this cooperative management agreement together, we started last fall drafting a new protocol for park closures during red flag warnings. And I think many of you remember that back a number of months ago, the Conservancy and the MRCA already announced that they were going to follow that practice. And so now National Park Service and California State Parks have joined in. And so what we did was we kind of started from scratch and we developed a new protocol that basically just today we are signing. We've worked very hard on that the last few months, and we secured approval through our own chains of regional, state, and national offices. And so over the next couple of days, we'll be getting all four of our signatures on the protocol, and I'll share it with James at that point, and so we can share the protocol with board members and advisory committee members. I will tell you that the spirit of it is that the general posture will be that parks will be closed when we have forecasted red flag warnings within the mountains. And so in drafting the protocol, I worked really closely with the National Weather Service, and what we have done is codified that the predictive source that we will use for those is the National Weather Service Los Angeles Oxnard office. And so I've been in contact with them. They know what we're planning to do. I now have a system set up so that we get the forecasts from them. And if the National Weather Service is forecasting the red flag warning, then that will kick our protocol into effect. I think everyone in this room knows that there are some limitations that we certainly won't be able to sign or have barriers up on every single one of our entry points into lands. It'll be more about messaging and education that the parks are closed and that it's not a great time for people to be recreating, and simply for the prevention of fire starts, and also just not having as many people in the area in the event of a necessary evacuation if a fire were to start. So while we will be able to swing some gates and close some things under the protocol, not everything will have that closure. So I think everyone understands the realities of that and how complicated it can be. So Yes, we will circulate that draft, and I thank you for giving me the time to just announce it. We are very proud to reveal that we finally got approval and got it through the process, so thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lau, and for your coordination with the other entities. There's a couple of questions. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. So it doesn't sound like this will elevate to the level of a forest order if I'm characterizing it correctly, like sometimes you see where there's closures.
It will be, so since we all have different law enforcement and protocols and management things, we do it under different authorities. So like, for example, the National Park Service, I have something called a superintendent's compendium, and I can close areas for emergency reasons under compendium, and we can enforce those closures. So it could be that people could receive citations or something. MRCA, Conservancy, and state parks would have their own mechanisms for that. So everybody will be doing their own thing on their own lands. Our big message and the spirit behind the protocol is just that we, as members of the four-party agreement, we want to hang together and give the same message to the public and to our partnering cities and towns, that this is sort of the posture that we will take in those situations where we have actual forecasted red flag warnings.
Thank you, Ms. Lau. There's another question here from the LA River Center.
Actually, two questions. One, if I recall, sometime within the last year, there were some issues about the National Weather Service's operations being partially or somewhat defunded and so forth. If I recall that correctly, might that have an impact on this? And secondly, just to confirm, so the National Forest Service is not going to be engaged in the same agreement?
The Forest Service is
about
not.
two national forests.
The Forest Service is not part of the protocol, no, because they don't have any land within the Santa Monica Mountains zone. Your first question, about the Weather Service. I don't anticipate that the Los Angeles Oxnard office will go away at any point. But if something were to happen to the funding of that predictive service, then we would just adapt the plan and figure out what our new trigger would be for activating the protocol.
Thank you, Ms. Lau, and we'll look for the report that you'll share with us. James, did Mr. Fink?
Mr. Chairman.
Please, go ahead.
There are portions of the forest, Angeles National Forest, that are within the Santa Monica Mountain Zone, the rim of the valley area, but most of the area is administered separately by the Forest Service. So we don't have the same relationship with the Forest Service as we do with the National Park Service and state parks. And so to try to have something that would be applicable to the entire Angeles Forest or subdivisions of it, it was just too complicated to try to, frankly, too complicated to try to contemplate. So we'll just keep it the way it is.
Thank you.
That clarification. Yeah. So is Mr. Fink there?
No, he is not here tonight. He fell ill.
Forest Service report?
I apologize. I had a question on that, but I think Halen had a question too.
Brian, do you want to do your question first?
Sure. Approximately how many days a year are red flag warnings?
So it's quite variable, and it can be anywhere from like 8 to 12. I did ask the Weather Service just the other day when I was with them when the last forecasted one was for the Santa Monica Mountains, and it was more than a year ago, and it was January 21st to 23rd, 2025. So after the big fire, that was the last forecasted red flag for the mountains. LA County did have one red flag forecasted. It wasn't in Santa Monica Mountains, but LA County, and that was in October. So this has not been a busy red flag year, so that can happen. So we can have years like this, but then we could also have other years where it happens more frequently.
And I just wanted to show appreciation for this kind of coordination, living in an area with overlapping parks, and of course, keeping the expectations. It's not easy what you guys do, and just coordinating this sort of safety measure and educating the public or even residents, it's not safe, is really important. And I remember when that came up, and I just wanted to thank you guys so much for taking that seriously. And that's it.
Thank you.
Great.
I wanted to join in and thank you for continuing with that because the messaging is important to the public and they lots of times don't know the difference where the boundary lines are or it doesn't really occur to them. National parks, state parks, conservancy land or whatever. And the Santa Monica Mountains is in 2 counties and some people don't realize that too. So, but that Oxnard Fire Service seems to be going strong still. And I remember when it was 6 months or longer ago that they said they might close them down. And it's really been helpful to have that facility in this space. So I appreciate the messaging so we get it all on one track. And so people aren't jumping from one park to the next, trying to find which ones are open or which ones were closed.
Thank you, Vice Chair Pavley. We have a question here from Ms. Brown.
Yes, Sierra Madre has 2 trailheads that lead from the corporate boundary into the national forest. And in the past, we have had closures that we've cooperated, our fire department has cooperated with the national forest. And yet we've had people who have come from the far side of somewhere, LA County, trying to go find a trailhead that they could access, and we've had to turn them away. So coordinating all of this together is really crucial, and I'd like to see what else can be done in that regard. The other part of it is when we close the forest because of burn reaction, the bear, burn area recovery, I forget the last part of that, but is a national Forest Service project. So we have a lot of explaining to the citizens when they don't understand these red flags and what they entail.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Forest Service?
No report.
Mr. Edmondson?
Mr. Chairman, typically you'd expect from me, oh, what's going on wrong, oh boy. No. I want to introduce, you all know Paul Littleman, our Deputy Director for Natural Resources, who has a very interesting and good report. So Paul.
As the 1990s began, everyone assumed that the San Fernando Valley spine flower was extinct. And then lo and behold, when the Amundsen Ranch project went forward, what is now the Upper Las Virgenes Preserve, they found San Fernando Valley spine flower. And so the MRCA and the Conservancy have the kind of dual ownership of the property. And it was mapped, and people stay on that slide there. And it's had its ups and downs, and then they found some more spine flower where Newhall Ranch was, and that Newhall Ranch took it out and has provided some money. And so here we are after 3 good rain years out of the last 4. I went up and looked at the spine flower population last week, and it's right on the edge of Lasky Mesa, if you know what the flat part of Amundsen Ranch is there, overlooking kind of to the southbound. And there was just tons of spine flower. I mean, look, you can see that carpet of it there. It's really the dominant low-growing item on the screen there. You can't even walk in there, and there are just beds of this, acre after acre of beds of it, and a lot of it in pure form. Go ahead with the next slide. And so the good news is that it's a good spine flower year, and it'll make a lot of seed. All this burned in the Franklin fire, every bit of where this was, and so it's coming back good after the fire. This kind of upside down. You can kind of see that it's the lowest growing thing in the picture there with little red stems and little teeny white flowers. Maybe you'll catch on to what it looks like in the next I'm going to show 7 slides so you can go through them real quick. So the good news that Joe was saying is that there is a lot of spine flower, and we now have, the MRCA now has $750,000 to study it and to fence it off and to take care of it and to promote it. So it's good news on the spine flower front. Go ahead and make another, just rip through the pictures. That's what it looks like. You really needed to want to ID it. It's very, very prostrate growing, and has a little white flower, and it gets very red towards the end of its cycle. And you can see this was a 95-degree day. In the middle of the day, I went out the worst time. The wind was blowing, and the plant is happy as a lark. It looks like a little sea creature, or a little Venus flytrap kind of thing. All right.
Thought to be extinct from the 1920s up until 2000 or so, 1999.
So there you go. you want to show the last picture? Just to give everyone a sense of what it looks like. Sometimes it grows, you know, there are satellite populations that reach out into where the fire burn scar was, and then there's the big carpeted mats of it too. So I just picked pictures that kind of show the differentiation.
Paul, may I ask a question? Where was this located? Those flowers are adorable. Where is this located?
Oh, on the very southern edge of Lasky Mesa in the upper Las Virgenes Open Space Preserve, former Amundsen Ranch.
Got it. And do these flowers and these plants, so I just heard 700,000 to protect them. Is that also planting them? And are you guys looking, are they like native species that are helpful?
It's a native species. It's got federal and state
Right.
protection.
Right.
So it's listed.
Are they helpful with fires and kind of resilient?
No, they only grow in places with almost no other competition with other plants on a micro-thin soil.
Got it.
And
I
it's
wasn't
annual.
As soon as anything else around it
Got
that's
it.
growing more than 3 inches, they're not growing.
Well, thank you. That was very sweet.
Okay. No, and we're not going to plant them. And then this year, they're planting themselves with great abundance.
Got it. That's cool. Yeah, very cool.
There's little gold fields and lotus growing with these too. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Mr. Hermiston?
So when we were trying to get the money together to buy this property, we, if you see on the right-hand side there, if you really enlarge that, you have a sunflower. Right there, enlarge that. Enlarge it more and more. So that's what we showed on the publicity material. Yeah. So saved his pine flower. He says, "Oh, great!" And when they went out later on and said, "Well, where are the fields of sunflowers?" So, well, the pine flower is right there. So anyway, wonderful things can be done with photography.
Does that conclude your report, Mr. Hermiston?
Does that conclude your report?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Isn't that a
We'll
fitting
expect
conclusion report?
alarming report next time.
Per usual, you all received a copy of the report, a good report if you've taken time to read it. I did want to highlight the fire division, being that last month we all experienced a tour of the facilities, and I hope you have more of an appreciation of the MRCA Fire Division. And the only other division I wanted to highlight is our developed resources. The fourth bullet down, I believe it is, at the Los Angeles River Center and Gardens, staff are completing final improvement projects in preparation for a busy event season. And as you know, it's the events at our facilities and park rentals, fees, et cetera, that provide a big revenue stream. So those are very important reports, and our departments to continue to keep the facilities very favorably viewed by our public. That concludes my report.
Thank you so much, Chair Lange.
Question, Chair?
Go ahead.
Just on the MRCA Fire Division side, what type of communications have gone up to Topanga residents about the burn pile that's going to happen? So,
LA County Fire is handling most of that. They've had a number of community meetings and I think door-to-door notification. The pile burn that was scheduled for the 20th for this Friday has been put off because of the heat, so we don't have a new date. That's up to LA County and the Weather Service.
thank you, Roy.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that update. Santa Clarita Watershed Recreation Conservation Authority?
No report.
Report.
Thank you so much. Wildlife Corridor Conservation Authority?
No report.
We heard you. Moore Park Watershed Parks and Recreation Conservation Authority? Mr.
No
Lange?
report.
Thank you, Mr. Lange. Any oral reports by staff?
No.
Questions to staff? Moving on to member comments on matters not on the agenda. Any members? We'll take it over there in that section.
Ms. James?
Just wanted to share an upcoming event. The Los Angeles League of Conservation Voters will be holding our Environmental Champions event on May 3rd at the Audubon Center, Debs Park. And I mentioned today because we'll be honoring our very own Fran Pavley with a Lifetime Achievement Award. Very, very well deserved. So it's a great time to just celebrate folks in the community like Fran and many others. So I invite you all to
buy a ticket to the event.
So yeah, come on out if you want to attend. Reach out to me or check out our website lalcv.org. But
What was the date again?
Can you put that on?
May 3rd at Audubon Center, Debs Park in the afternoon.
And Lindsay Horvath.
Lindsay Horvath, Nanette Berrigan will also be honored. A council member out of Linwood,
There's
Juan
one
Munoz.
guy and 3 women.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a terrific lineup of a lot of our champions from the area. So hope you all
Thank you, Ms. James. And you know, all of us here will be attending because of our Vice Chair Padley, so.
Oh.
like to hear.
Any other comments? I had a question, Mr. Edmiston. You know, we, in the past, we had a conversation, or we had report on the lawsuit that was happening with the city of Malibu. I'm wondering if that's something that we can entertain, and if so, is that something that I'd like an update on it? And if that needs to
So
be.
I'd like to refer that to the Attorney General.
Attorney General?
Yeah, hi, I'm Kevin Kelly. I'm from the Attorney General's office. We're happy to set up a closed session to talk about that.
Okay.
Some of the attorneys who are handling the case.
Great. So that's something that I'd like agendized for a closed session in the future. Maybe next agenda item, next meeting.
Sure.
We can certainly do that.
Great. So I heard yes from the Attorney General and yes from our legal counsel. Thank you both. Go ahead.
I haven't been around for a while, apologies for that, but that messy redesign of parking along PCH, I know that was put off after, after the fires and so forth. Has that dragon been beheaded, or is that still pending somewhere somehow?
I would love to learn more about that as well. Whoever, I couldn't see who spoke, but I second that.
All right. Sounds like there's consensus about an update on the dragon.
What would the dragon be besides parking on PCH, which is a dragon sometimes?
Okay. Noted. Yes. To staff.
Maybe this is an issue we would separately agendize when we could
Yes. For
give
future.
appropriate public notice. I think that's very interesting to a number of public members. So
Absolutely.
why don't we do that?
Yep. All right. Okay. Item 12, we don't have any closed session items. Announcement of the next meeting is scheduled for April 20th. And with that, thank you so much.
Do we have a closed session? No. No? Okay.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Everybody have a great evening. Safe travels.